I have no enemies, at least, where Santos really stands in the House GOP. Everyone in the Capitol seems to be talking about George Santos. Almost no fellow Republican, however, appears to be forging real bonds with him. The New York Republican became a migraine for his party only last month after reports raised questions about whether Santos lied extensively about his past, not to mention about the controversial far-right group he's associated with. But even as Santos finds himself taking questions live on the radio from Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican Florida, it's far from clear that he's welcome among most conservative lawmakers. During conversations with a dozen House Republicans, a picture emerged of a Santos who's more reserved among his colleagues than his recent spotlight seeking suggests, holding friendly conversations here and there without directly cultivating many allies. Members often remark they had no idea who he spends time with, but it certainly isn't them. To my knowledge, hardly any of the New York members speak with him, said first-term Rep. Nick LaLota, RN. Why, the first GOP member to call for Santos to resign. There's really nothing to speak about. He's a totally untrustworthy individual who has broken the public's trust. He's become an embarrassment. He's become a joke. Santos himself demurred when Politico asked about his standing in the conference. I'm not gonna say they're all my friends, I have no enemies at least, he said, adding he has confidants but noting it is too soon in his term for special relationships. He quipped that he's in more of a relationship with the political press. His status as a man on an island could prove politically risky, particularly if the consequences of his apparent fabrications continue to pile up and prompt more resignation calls. For the moment, Santos' biggest ally may be the Speaker who needs his vote in a slim majority, even though Kevin McCarthy's famous freshman has done little but cause PR problems. Representative Kelly Armstrong, RN.D., agreed, when asked, that most House Republicans are keeping their distance from Santos. A number one thing in this town is, people don't like being criticized for what they do. They really don't like answering questions about what somebody else has done, Armstrong said. If nothing but out of political expedience, people are gonna avoid him. Santos tends to flash a smile as he bounces around the Capitol halls, often encircled by an aggressive barrage of news cameras and persistent press questions. This week he took the practice of catering to the spotlight rather literally, laying out Chick-fil-A and Dunkin' Donuts for the reporters waiting outside his office. Few of his colleagues expect the glare to dim quickly. Asked whether Santos' seat on the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee would cast a brighter light on a typically wonky panel, Chair Frank Lucas, Republican Oklahoma, laughed and replied, "The Science Committee in recent times has a reputation for being a rather calm, focused, some people almost would say sedate existence. We're gonna get livened up." Lucas projected little concern about Santos becoming a distraction to his committee, observing that every member has strengths, every member has weaknesses, and adding that he would have to figure out, in this particular case, what those are, and work with it. But other Republicans are less copacetic about the Santos show that's taking shape this Congress. Those who saw his ascension as a blatant manipulation of the party apparatus, from the National Republican Congressional Committee to the staffers on his campaign payroll, are particularly alarmed that he's managing to hang on despite lacking major.
Congressman, what's your reaction to members of your own party calling for your resignation?
That's their prerogative.
If the voters ask for you to resign, will you resign if the voters
your voters
want you to
call?
resign?
142 people asked for me to resign, I'll resign.